There are two completely different versions of America. There is the America that is broadcast on television, where teenagers worry about college applications, families take summer vacations, and the police are simply the people you call when you feel unsafe. And then there is the America you were actually born into, a world constructed of cracked concrete, chain-link fences, and the constant flashing red and blue lights of patrol cars. In your world, the system has completely forgotten you exist, and respect is the only currency that actually matters. This is the absolute reality of the streets. This is what it takes to climb from a completely invisible kid on a broken corner to a millionaire shot caller running a criminal empire from inside a maximum security prison. This is your life in the Crips. Level 1, the Pee-wee, the ghost of the corner. You are 11 years old, growing up in a neighborhood where the Crips exercise absolute control over every single block. You don't have a safety net. Your mother works grueling double shifts just to keep the lights on, and your father left the picture long before you were old enough to remember his face. At school, you are completely invisible, just another kid falling through the massive cracks of a broken educational system. But the older guys on your corner are different. They wear the blue colors with intense pride, their pockets are thick with cash, and they command absolute respect. When they walk down the street, normal people cross to the other side and move out of their way. You want that power. You start hanging around the fringes of their group. You never explicitly ask to join, because in this world, asking is considered deeply disrespectful and naive. You simply exist in their space. They start to see you. They call you a Pee-wee, a tiny gangster, and they test your reliability with small tasks. You run to the local bodega to buy their cigarettes. You carry quick, verbal messages between the older homies, and sometimes you hold a tightly wrapped package for them without ever daring to ask what is inside it. You make absolutely no money, but you are finally seen. You belong. Level 2, the baby gangster, the jump-in. You are 14 years old now, and you have been hanging around the set for 3 years, proving you can keep your mouth shut. One humid summer night, the big homie pulls you aside into a dark alley and asks the question that will permanently alter the trajectory of your entire life. You ready to put in work? You nod immediately because you have been desperately waiting for this exact moment. The initiation ritual is brutally simple and terrifyingly violent. You are getting jumped in. 6 older members form a tight circle around you in the dark. The rules are absolute. You stand in the middle, the count starts, and you must survive exactly 60 seconds of relentless fists and kicks coming from every possible direction. The countdown begins. At 1 second, a heavy fist shatters against your jaw. At 5 seconds, a brutal kick to your ribs sends you collapsing to the hard concrete, but they do not stop swinging. By 15 seconds, you taste the warm, metallic tang of your own blood. At 30 seconds, your vision violently blurs, and by 45 seconds, your face is completely numb. When the 60 seconds finally expire, the violence stops instantly. A homie reaches down, helps you up off the concrete, and pulls you into a tight hug while blood actively drips down your chin. You are officially a baby gangster, a BG. They bestow a street name upon you, Lil Snap, Baby Crip, or Tiny Lock. That street name becomes your permanent, true identity. The government name your mother gave you absolutely does not matter anymore. You still don't make any real money, but you have acquired a ruthless family, guaranteed protection, and a deadly purpose. Level 3, the soldier, the front lines. You are 16 years old, and you have been officially jumped in for 2 grueling years. You are no longer just a kid watching the corner. You get your first real job as a soldier and a shooter for the set. When the gang desperately needs muscle, you are the one who shows up. The violence becomes a regular part of your weekly routine. When a store owner stubbornly refuses to pay the neighborhood protection tax, you walk straight through his front doors gripping a baseball bat. You don't need to say a single word. You smash his displays, And by the next week, the terrified man pays his tax in full. When a rival gang tries to sell narcotics on your block, you and three homies roll up at midnight and handle it violently, reclaiming your corner with absolute force. You also start moving the product yourself. You start with weed and quickly graduate to the harder stuff, standing on the corner for hours doing hand-to-hand sales. You bring in about $300 a week, which is more cash than your exhausted mother makes in an entire month. You take that drug money and buy fresh Jordans, a heavy gold chain, and your first firearm, a cheap 380 caliber pistol that jams if you don't hold it perfectly. You feel incredibly powerful, but the crushing anxiety sets in. If the police catch you with the product, you are going straight to juvenile hall. If a rival gang catches you slipping, you are going straight into the ground. You stop sleeping deeply. You sleep with your hand resting on the gun under your pillow, obsessively watching every single car that slowly rolls past your bedroom window. You realize there is absolutely no going back. Level 4, the little homie, the manager. You are 18 years old and you have survived 2 incredibly violent years on the absolute front lines as a soldier. You have been shot at 3 different times and you have been arrested twice. Both times you were in an interrogation room, you stared blankly at the detectives and kept your mouth completely shut. The big homies notice your absolute loyalty and they promote you to a little homie. You are no longer just a shooter taking orders. You are middle management. You have 3 or 4 younger soldiers, BGs and peewees, working directly under you, looking up to you with the exact same reverence you used to look up to the older guys. You fully manage a profitable corner. You dictate exactly who sells, what hours they work, and what the street prices are. At the end of the long night, you collect the dirty cash, take your personal cut, which is now around $800 a week, and kick the rest of the profits up the chain to the OG. You don't have to stand in the freezing rain slinging dime bags anymore, but the stress is entirely different. If the police execute a raid on your corner, the OG holds you personally responsible. If a rival set aggressively moves in, you have to handle it immediately or you get violently replaced. You throw away the cheap pistol and upgrade to a reliable Glock 19. You have put in massive amounts of work to earn your respect, but that respect paints a massive, permanent target on your back. The local gang unit knows your face perfectly, and the rival sets actively speak your name. You are only 18 years old, but looking in the mirror, your eyes look completely exhausted. You feel like you are 35. Level 5, the big homie, the boss of the block. You are 22 years old. You have been deeply entrenched in the set for 11 years, and you have survived your first major stretch in prison, 18 months locked up for distribution. You sat in that miserable, freezing cell and never gave up a single name to the prosecutors. When you finally walked out of the prison gates, the set threw a massive party to welcome you back. You proved you were completely unbreakable, and now you are a big homie. You are a true leader, controlling a massive territory spanning 5 or 6 city blocks with multiple active corners. You manage a small army of soldiers, little homies, and BGs who all report directly to you. The money flows upward like a river. You collect the vast profits, take your substantial cut, and you are pulling in approximately $3,000 every single week. You buy a nice car, rent a luxury apartment, have a beautiful girl, and your closet is completely full of expensive blue clothing. Your primary job now is executive management and ruthless discipline. If a soldier gets greedy and starts skimming money, you deal with it swiftly. Sometimes it requires a stern conversation. Sometimes it requires a savage beating. And sometimes that soldier simply disappears permanently. You are also a diplomat, handling neighborhood politics and settling beefs between your own soldiers before they spiral into internal wars. But the paranoia is suffocating. The police have a massive file with your name on it. The gang unit intimately knows your car, and they pull you over once a month for absolutely no reason, just to remind you they are always watching. You intimately understand that the only way out of this life is a maximum security prison cell or a closed casket. Level 6. The OG, Original Gangster. You are 28 years old, which is absolutely ancient in gang years. Most of the guys you came up with as a teenager are either buried in the local cemetery or serving natural life sentences. But you were highly intelligent, extremely careful, and completely ruthless when you needed to be. You are now an OG, an original gangster. You command an entire massive section of the city, overseeing multiple big homies and hundreds of heavily armed soldiers across dozens of blocks. You never touch the narcotic product anymore, and you never physically carry a gun because you have an army of people to do that for you. The money is staggering. You are pulling in $10,000 to $15,000 a week. You have learned how to wash the blood money. You purchase a local barbershop, a car wash, and a clothing store. The dirty cash flows heavily through these registers and comes out completely legal. To the normal citizens in your neighborhood, you appear to be a highly successful, legitimate businessman who made it out of the hood. But the dark truth is you never actually left. You hold your secretive executive meetings in the back room of the barbershop, where you hand down decisions that carry the absolute weight of law. But the crown is incredibly heavy. Every ambitious big homie secretly covets your throne, and every rival set wants you dead. Worse, the federal government is actively building a massive RICO conspiracy case with your name at the very top of the whiteboard. You haven't relaxed in a decade. You constantly check your rearview mirrors. You refuse to ever sit in a restaurant with your back facing the door, and you trust absolutely no one completely. Level 7. The shot caller, the prison king. You are 32 years old, and your luck finally completely runs out. The FBI executes early morning raids, and you are indicted on a sprawling RICO conspiracy. The judge sentences you to 25 years in a federal penitentiary. The outside world believes your life is over, that you are going to rot and die in a cage. But they don't understand the realities of the underworld. Prison is exactly where the true, unfiltered power actually lives. Within a single week of arriving at the federal penitentiary, you connect with dozens of Crips inside, and you realize they completely run the yard. Because of your massive reputation from the streets, you immediately become a shot caller. You are the absolute leader on the inside. You dictate exactly what happens on your cell block. You decide who receives protection and who gets violently dealt with. You settle the complex prison disputes, and you ruthlessly enforce the internal rules of the gang. You sit at the very top of a massive underground prison economy. Narcotic drugs flow in through heavily corrupted guards, cell phones are dropped over the high walls by commercial drones, and massive amounts of money move quietly through inmate commissary accounts. You aggressively tax absolutely everything. Most terrifyingly, your reach extends far beyond the concrete walls. Your girl visits you twice a month in the visitation room. She brings vital news from the streets and smuggles your violent orders back out. If a guy in your old neighborhood starts snitching to the police, you make a single phone call from a contraband cell phone, and 3 days later, the problem is permanently handled. If a rival gang member gets transferred to your specific prison facility, you give a quiet nod, and he doesn't survive the week. You are locked in a steel cage, but you possess absolute authority and command. The only thing you lack is freedom. But you realize freedom is heavily overrated when you are a king. Level 8. The original gangster, the living myth. You are 40 years old. You have been actively bleeding for the set for nearly 30 years. You survived the devastating street wars of your youth, the betrayals, the bullets, and the crushing weight of the federal prison system. You are an original gangster, an OOG, a founding member, a living legend. Young homies across the city whisper your street name with total reverence, even though they have never actually met you. The violent stories about your past have morphed into urban mythology. Half of the tales aren't even factually true anymore, but the terrifying reputation is completely real. You don't run the chaotic day-to-day operations on the corners. That is a young man's game. You act as an elite consultant and an untouchable advisor. When the younger OGs face a massive decision, a full-scale street war, a delicate truce, or a highly profitable business expansion, they come to your door. Your word carries a supernatural weight that no amount of dirty money can buy. You have accumulated your wealth, and you live a quiet life in a nice house in a decent suburban neighborhood. You run a legitimate business that is entirely clean, and you play with your young grandkids who have absolutely no idea what horrific things you did to build this comfortable life. But you can never, ever fully retire. The set is permanently etched into your blood. When a big homie calls your encrypted phone at 2 a.m. with a bloody crisis, you always answer. You have successfully outlived every single person from your original generation, and some days it feels like a glorious victory, while other days it feels like a devastating curse. Level 9. The streets remember. The endless cycle. You are 50 years old. You have been breathing the life for nearly 40 years. You sit quietly on your front porch, watching the brand new generation of kids walk down the sidewalk. They look incredibly young, younger than your own grandchildren. They wear the exact same shades of blue, and they proudly bang the exact same set, genuinely believing they invented this lifestyle. They have absolutely no idea who built the corners they currently stand on. They don't know the horrific details of the street wars you fought. They don't know the names of the bodies you buried, and they can't comprehend the agonizing decades you spent rotting in federal cages. They just know your legendary name. A young homie struts past your house, makes eye contact, and respectfully throws up the set's hand signs. You give a slow nod back. He keeps walking, totally oblivious to the fact that he just saluted the architect of his world. That is fine with you. You don't desperately crave the recognition anymore. Your mind is a graveyard. You have completely lost count of the funerals, and the faces of your dead friends, fallen soldiers, and bitter enemies all blur together into one painful memory. You have watched the set violently evolve from a small neighborhood crew into a massive nationwide movement. And what do you truly have to show for a lifetime of war? A nice house, some money in the bank, deep physical scars that aggressively ache every time it rains, and traumatic memories that keep you staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m. You made absolutely sure your own son never joined the life. When he was 14 and foolishly tried to hang around the homies, you literally beat the gang out of him. He deeply hated you for years, but now he is an adult, and he thanks you. Your innocent grandson points to the faded tattoos covering your arms and asks what they mean. You quietly tell him they are just mistakes, because he doesn't ever need to know the dark truth. There is no golden watch. There is no quiet retirement. You are a Crip until the day your heart stops beating. Blood in, blood out. You look down the street at the busy corner, the exact same corner where you first stood 4 decades ago as a terrified, invisible kid. There is a brand new Pee-wee standing there today. He is exactly 11 years old. He is quietly watching the older guys, and he looks so incredibly hungry for respect. You see your exact self staring back at you, and the violent cycle continues.